What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mission Accomplished. My name is Michelle.
I'm Garrett, and today we are going to be talking about failure.
Yes, we're going to be diving in deep on failure, and specifically with us, what it feels like when you put your heart and soul into something that you believe in our case, maybe a YouTube video, and it doesn't perform well. Or you work really hard on a project and nobody watches it, nobody sees it. What do you do?
However, first let's do some life updates. So, Michelle, this episode is going up Wednesday. You're probably watching this on Wednesday. What is happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I am competing in my final challenge for I Trained Like a Professional Gamer. For the past several weeks, some of you guys know this already, I have been training like a professional Fortnite player with the Gen G professional esports team.
If you didn't know, Michelle has been streaming on Twitch all week. And
yeah, I just started last week streaming on Twitch. Before then, it was just me by myself behind this computer over there. I'm flying in from behind. Oh! Oh my God, yes!
And if you don't know that, that means you've missed all of those streams. But hey, it's okay because
Oh God.
You'll be able to watch the stream most likely happening today. There's probably going to be a stream.
Yeah, on Wednesday.
And tomorrow you can catch the final competition.
You can actually watch the
live.
tournament.
You'll know the end of the challenge accepted episode before you even see it happen. So, pretty cool.
Yeah, but still watch the challenge accepted episode.
Yeah, but hey, so we've been enjoying streaming. I think streaming's been something.
It's been a great pick-me-up. I gotta say.
I love
it. Training for this episode has been really difficult for me mentally in a lot of ways because I love doing a lot of the challenges we do because they're very physical. And so, you know, just like working out, by the end, you feel really good in your body and you feel like you've just like have that primal sense of I've accomplished something today. Video game training, esports training is a different type of exhaustion. It's very mental. And unlike the other challenges I've done, I don't have like any background in this at all. Like guys, I've played one video game through in my entire life, and it was the SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom on GameCube. And I only did that because I was trying to impress some guy in middle school, and he was not impressed. No.
Oh.
It hardcore failed.
It impresses me.
Well, thank you. But I haven't. I was never good at Smash. I never owned an N64 or anything. And I mean, even in our relationship, usually you just play video games and I do something else when you're playing them.
But now we can play video games together, which is really fun. How has that been for you, having another thing that we can do together like that?
I love playing Fortnite together. Some people have asked, like, why did you choose Fortnite over other games? I did it because they said I should do it. I don't know, like, I didn't.
Who's they?
Gen G.
Okay, yeah.
Gen G recommended that I do Fortnite. We were kind of between Warzone and Fortnite.
The big thing is there was a tournament coming up for Fortnite. There were some other games. However, we decided that this would be the most accessible for people. A lot of people play Warzone, but not everybody has seen Call of Duty or heard of Call of Duty.
I think a lot of people, yeah.
Sorry, I guess specifically Warzone, but Fortnite is such a big name in gaming that
I think they both are, honestly.
They both are. I think there was this sense.
It was really just more that there was a tournament for Fortnite. And
well, Warzone happens the week after. Because it's like, yeah.
Okay, I should have done Warzone, I guess. But anyways, we did Fortnite
Maybe Warzone's next.
Maybe Warzone's
We
next.
could do both. Why not both?
We did Fortnite because we did it. And it is the only game I play. I mean, people come in the stream and they're like, oh, can you play Warzone? Can you play Sea of Thieves? I have no idea. I only know how to do one at this point. But yeah, it's been really fun. And the streams have been great because I've just been grinding behind my computer. Like literally, guys, I'm doing drills. I'm doing warm-ups as like just the same as a very physical challenge accepted. I'm doing the same thing. I hydrate, I stretch my hands, I ice my hands, I do warm-ups to practice different keybinds and patterns, and then I just play a ton of games. It's so similar to a I don't want to say regular sport, but any other sport.
A non-esport.
A non-esport that, I mean, it's very, very similar. And it's a grind. Like, I just sit at my computer and play for like 3 or 4 hours by myself. And now that we have implemented streaming, it's been so fun because, you guys, the stream community that we have garnered somehow, it's small, but it's amazing. I love it so much. I mean, I feel like I know a lot of the people in the chat now because there are people who come every single day.
Shout out to our mods, Falaron and
Tessa,
who
43.
keep our chat clean.
Clean chat. And it's been really fun to play with you and Christina, and we've also been playing with Luke from Karma.
We got the Karma kids involved. We play Fortnite with Luke.
And it's just been really fun. Like, we look forward to it every single day because it's just such a fun activity, and I'm glad we added it in. I was really nervous about it because I've never done Twitch. It's this whole new platform that I'm nervous about. I was nervous about, like, am I going to be entertaining to watch for 4 hours? I mean, our videos are half an hour long, and I think that's pretty long already. But I've loved it so far. It's been really therapeutic, and I feel like it's definitely a different part of me that we haven't shared, or I haven't shared too much.
So follow us on Twitch to follow along with the shenanigans that occur over there.
Potentially see the tournament tomorrow if you want. It's going to be awesome.
So now let's dive into the main topic of today's episode, failure. So specifically, we are going to start, and who knows where this will go, but we are going to start with failure with our own videos and our own careers. And what does that look like? I have some questions that I'm just going to start things off, if that's fine.
Yeah, and I also just want to say I think it's important for us to reflect and acknowledge failure. I think it's important for anybody to do. But it's not fun all the time. I mean, I think I'm going to cringe at a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about today, and I think that's good. That's good for us. We need to do this.
When was the last time you felt failure with a YouTube video release?
YouTube is it's a really tough animal. I feel failure every single day on YouTube. Not gonna lie, and that's not me like sugarcoating it. Garrett, you know, every single day I have some crisis about am I failing as a YouTuber. I think the most recent thing I felt about it is our recent episode of Challenge Accepted, the one about me hosting Karma.
So why did you view that as a failure?
So it's not like a flop video. It's not a failure. But our Challenge Accepted videos, which only come out once every 1 or 2 months, take us so long to make. I mean, you guys know this. We've talked about it so much. They're expensive. And this one in particular took almost a year to produce. I mean, we filmed Karma almost a year ago at this point. It's July now. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, and when you put your heart and soul into something, you hope for that 1 million view milestone. I mean, there's no beating around the bush about it. Like, that's the goal. And it's a goal for a variety of reasons. It's a goal because, you know, when you hit, at least on our channel, when you hit around that number of views, we've reached a new audience. Usually we can see subscriber growth, and then you see a return on the investment. Even if it's not like we recoup the benefits financially necessarily, it's very hard to do on Challenge Accepted, specifically with just AdSense. But you sense like we spent so many months doing this thing, and it's paid off in the sense of the number of people I wanted to see it saw it, and we grew our audience. New people know about us now.
So because the reality TV host episode of Challenge Accepted didn't hit a certain amount of views in a certain amount of time, that has made you view it as not a complete failure, but a version of a failure.
It's one of those moments when I think to myself, like, dang, man, really? And it's hard because sometimes the videos that you put the most effort and love and care into don't get the most views. And something I struggle with that is, do people like me for me, or do they only like me when I do certain videos? And when I see other creators put up specific videos or just like behind the scenes on this or a day in my life on this thing, and it gets so many million views, and when I try to do something similar in my own way, it doesn't. It makes me feel like I, as a personality, am not interesting enough to watch or to share.
So it becomes more personal.
It becomes very personal on YouTube, and that's why I feel like it's a bit different than having a startup or a business with a product associated with it, though.
But we are selling a product.
Yeah.
So you can look at it that way.
Yeah, but it's
I
even
think
worse, I
because
feel, when it's your face.
Yeah, your brand, your
and
personal
if people
brand.
don't want to click on my face,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like what an ego hit that is. Now, granted, I am so grateful for everyone who did click on the video. Like, wow. I think it's about 300,000 people have watched it at this point. I'm not going to, let me be very clear. I am not upset about that at all. I'm like so grateful, because when you release something different, like I know that the behind the scenes of Karma was a different type of challenge accepted. We're taking a little bit of risk. 5 people could watch it at this point. I don't know. And I'm so grateful to the people who did, and the comments are so, so wonderful. But every time you kind of hope for that little bit of like, I just really hope that we reach a new audience or grow a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a really hard thing. Like, even talking about it now, I hate how I sound talking about it, because the privilege of having the audience we do is so wonderful. And I think the reason I feel so much frustration at times about it is I feel like I have failed that audience if they don't want to watch my content anymore. They have put a lot of faith in me by subscribing, by turning on notifications, by allowing me to occupy their news feed. And when I deliver something that isn't interesting or worthy of being in the news feed, I feel like I have failed them, and I have failed our team in a way. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I also see a lot of creators lately disappointed in their view counts. And some of that I can understand for sure. And some of that I have experience with, let's say like at BuzzFeed. We were putting out so much content. Sometimes something would go viral and sometimes it would completely flop. And you kind of build a muscle at BuzzFeed, or when you're in that environment of, this video could fail. Okay, we'll move on. But also that's easier to do when a company is paying for it versus we're paying for it. People's livelihoods rely on us. Now, this is me going way too far off the deep end, obviously.
I don't think it's going too far. I mean, yeah, those failures are not hitting a certain number directly affects your business, not just your ego, but your ability to provide for your employees. And also you can think of it from a career legacy standpoint, you know? So I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure on YouTube that you are only as good as your last video.
Oh, that's interesting. I could see that. I could see people really, yeah. Like
when you
could have
when
a
you
huge
go to a
body
channel. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
so honest here. When you go to a new channel, the first thing, I think everyone does this, you look at how many views are their videos getting. And if there is a video that you have zero interest in, like whatsoever, but it has 10 million views, part of you is going to be like, wait, why did 10 million other people click on this? Okay, maybe I'll click on that. So I think the views, it's a badge. I mean, there's a reason the view count is right next to the title of the video, which sucks. And I appreciate on the TV app for YouTube, you can't see view counts as easily, because then the audience is judging the piece by the thumbnail and the title, which are controlled by the creator. But on the website, the mobile app, like when that numerical level of popularity is right next to the thumbnail and title that the artist created, it's almost like that in and of itself shows the importance the audience places on it.
Each time you do a video that you would consider underperforming, so let's also take, for example, the Fire Academy video. I think also one of our better challenges. However, when we released it, it severely underperformed.
Well, yeah, why don't we unpack firefighting? So firefighting had a really interesting trajectory, because when we first released it, it did like fine. A couple 100,000 views in a week, I want to say.
And I want to just put in perspective right now, the network TV reality host episode of Challenge Accepted is doing worse in its third day of release than Fire Academy.
Yeah.
Just to put in perspective for
Right.
people listening.
And YouTube suppressed the ads on it because there is a scene in the video where we discuss and showcase a scenario of rescuing victims from an active shooter scenario. And this was frustrating because I wanted to show that because it's a part of what firefighters do, and people need to know that they handle some crazy stuff beyond going in a burning building.
Right. Running into an active
Yeah.
shooting situation as an officer with a weapon is one thing. Running into that situation as a firefighter without a weapon
They don't have any weapons.
is another thing.
Yeah, and it's very scary. It's very intense. So part of me understood, like, okay, maybe this is too intense to have on YouTube. But I emailed them, and they told me, like, we're gonna have to suppress this. And that's a really hard thing when you want to tell the honest story of someone's profession and community, and the video is suppressed for that. What's really strange is that months later, they ended up removing the suppression, and then the video has over 2 million views now, like just out of nowhere. And it was strange that they pushed back on us when I brought it up, but then kind of quietly removed it later. I don't know if that was like a bot or something, but it was definitely bizarre. I mean, I'm obviously grateful now that more people have seen it and can watch it. And obviously all of this is, like, I'm not going to deny the tie to my ego about all of it. I'll never deny that. I mean, yeah, it feels good to get views on a video. But also, I think there's like an added level of disappointment when I feel like there is a community of people wanting to be seen and heard, like the firefighter community who need to be seen and heard for the amazing work they do. And if we don't reach a certain view count or something, I feel like I failed them in a certain way. And I feel a little bit of that with the Karma episode because I love the show so much and I believe in it as a really amazing body of content that was created by an incredible group of people and highly diverse cast that I just want the world to know about it. And it's really hard when I feel like I have almost like failed the show in a way.
Karma,
if I'm,
you mean?
Yeah, Karma, if I'm being completely honest. Because, I mean, there's also this added pressure of when you are brought on as a social media person into the traditional space, even though there's nothing in my contract that says, like, you have to get us so many new viewers on the platform or anything like that. There's nothing like that.
Because you weren't hired to be an influencer.
No,
host.
I was hired to
host.
host.
You were hired to host. You went through the audition process. We talked about that before. So this was just an external pressure you put on yourself because you happen to be an influencer.
Because
right?
I know everyone's thinking it.
Right.
Everyone's thinking, oh, good, we have this person who can hopefully get more views on our thing. And if I can't deliver on that, which I don't know. I mean, there could be a lot of people who have gone to see Karma because of the promotion we've done and whatnot. I have no real way of knowing that. So I think I put a lot of unrealistic pressure on myself with anything, whether it's YouTube or otherwise. And I'm definitely a person that focuses a lot on my failures more than my accomplishments. And that, I don't know, is something I want to change and have been working on a lot.
So let's talk about turning these failures and in making failures or turning them into positives instead of negatives. So what is something that, give me any failure that you've had maybe in the past 6 months or that we've had, and is there anything that you've learned from a specific failure and how you turn it into a positive?
I think something that I learn every time we put up a video we love, and maybe it doesn't reach that numerical ego goal, is that you have to learn and also let go. So we look at the data, we look at everything, we take the education we can from it. Sometimes we don't know what that is until months later, and then let go. I love the videos we've made, and I loved the firefighter video even before it had 1 million views on it, which took months, and YouTube releasing the suppression on it. I have to remind myself, why am I doing this? You know, am I doing this for views? I have to, in some sense of the word, to keep the business going. But why am I really doing it? And I'm doing it to inspire and motivate other people, and to create art that I would have wanted to see growing up. And if I've done that, then in a lot of ways I've accomplished what I set out to do. So we learn, you know, maybe it was the title, maybe it was a thumbnail. How can we improve? And there have been times when we change a thumbnail and the video takes off all of a sudden. And those are valuable lessons to learn. I mean, those are simple changes to be made. I don't quite know what the learning is for this specific video, but I'm excited to learn what it is so I can grow and be better at what I do. I mean, I think that there are other creators who have this amazing blessing but also curse of anything they put up gets millions of views. And while that sounds so amazing, like I wish that was the case with us. I'm also grateful because what has happened on the channel is we know we have to just keep pushing every single time, and it makes the content better. So I'm really grateful for that. At least I'm trying to be. I'm really trying in therapy.
It's similar to what JD was talking on our last episode of the podcast, which is, you know, we're never going to be, we are always proving ourselves. You know, we're never going to be satisfied. And, you know, all great artists, I think, go through something similar. It's like what you make is never good enough, and you always have to keep one-upping yourself every time you make a new episode. That's something that it's the thrill of the chase, or the thrill of the hunt. That's what I like with Challenge Accepted, is every time we release an episode, we try to one-up with production value or with the type of footage we get, the interviews we're able to get. And that's been really, really exciting to get to do.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful for people who stick around for the new experimental content. I mean, what a blessing that is.
Does the fear of failure ever scare you away from doing specific episodes or episode ideas? Like if you know it's not going to perform well. And I know there's the idea of, oh, well, if it doesn't perform well, we won't make as much money, which will hurt us to make the next episode. That's a financial fear. But just does the fear of just failure in general scare you about certain ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it scares everybody from anything. I feel it extra, I think, because I heard this somewhere. Boys are taught to play, girls are taught to be perfect. I definitely feel that. Frequently. I mean, I look to specific points in my childhood and growing up when I, you know, you celebrate being in a certain teacher's class because you know from upperclassmen that teacher is nicer and easier than the other teacher who teaches the same class, who might be way more strict and difficult. And I mean, that's just with anything in life, but like, I feel like maybe I should have just been celebrating I'm getting to learn this stuff regardless, you know? Or you do something for a line on a resume and not because you're fully there with it. Now, I feel like at this point, very blessed to accept things into my life that only bring positive energy and fulfillment. But I mean, for a lot of my life, there was a lot of, I'll do this to get me to the next place, so that one day I can do the thing I want, kind of thing. And definitely, like, I have to measure failure. I have to measure that when we choose a new video to do, because if it doesn't do well, then yeah, it is a negative return on investment. And that's a really difficult thing to balance, because I think there are two sides of the spectrum. One is only do videos that get views, and the other is do the things you're passionate about. And the true truth of the matter is you have to do both sometimes. I mean, you can't, and a lot of times it's surprising how often those two ends of the spectrum can fold in on each other and be mutually awesome. Like a video we are passionate about could do very well, but you have to be willing to take the risk every single time, whether it's making a video or doing anything in your life or career aspirations.
What is the biggest failure for you of your childhood?
I think that the biggest failure of my childhood was two things. The first was I definitely wasted a lot of time worrying about what other people thought of me constantly, and wishing I was somebody I wasn't. I was so frustrated frequently with being different, with having to explain having biracial parents constantly, like those things, you know. Mm-hmm. Those are things that were really frustrating to me, and sometimes I let them get to me, especially as a kid. But I also think that the larger disappointment I have is focusing too much on that side of the spectrum of I have to do this to get from point A to point B, and not because I'm passionate about it. I wish I had done a little bit more of pushing myself to the artistic dreams and visions I had. But also, I mean, without doing both, I wouldn't be where I am today. So it's difficult to kind of look back and know what to change.
This reminds me of a question I just asked Michelle 2 days ago, I think, while we were exercising. I think I asked you, what if you woke up right now, you do this if you're listening, pretend that you wake up in your bed and it's the first day of high school. Everything that has happened since then was a dream. It's the first day of freshman year. What do you do? And I thought to myself, wow, that's a lot of time for me. Like, that's a lot of time to have to repeat. And there's this sense of, would you do it all again the same and try to replicate everything you've done exactly the same? Would you try to, change things with the information that you've learned? I think the hardest part is just reliving those years day by day by day by day. And even if you're making them a better version of what you had in your dream, it's still just monotonous and tedious to do that again and again. So that it just reminded me of that, of like, if you went back and tried to change some of those failures, if you were to alter that.
I know. I think I've been thinking about that a lot, because how would you replicate every single day of your life to end up in the same spot?
I don't think it would be possible.
I don't think so. I mean, I would be so scared, because who knows all the minute butterfly effect things that led me to meeting you or made you who you are. And what if we slightly changed those things, or in an effort of trying to make life version 2 better than life version 1, miss out on a lot of things that made life version 1 awesome? That scares me. And I think
if I hope I never wake up and that is the situation. I don't want to do it again. That would be so annoying.
If that happened, would you immediately try to find me on Facebook or something?
No, because imagine me reaching out to you being, okay, I know this sounds crazy, but in 10 years we get married and we do YouTube together, and you would be like, well, who the fuck are you?
I know. I was thinking of the same thing. I would have a really hard time resisting, though. But also, I think we would be disappointed, because I think if we met in high school, we would have not gotten together.
It's a funny experiment. Imagine somebody doing that as a way to pick up somebody, is to pretend that
Pretend. No, I don't want to talk about pretend.
No, I'm saying like imagine if that wasn't the case and someone just reaches out to somebody. It's like kind of like the I'm from the future and I know this will happen. You just sound like a crazy person.
But then you would have to say some things that only I would know.
But what if everything that had happened was not 100% factual? Like, because it is the dream version of the future.
Oh my God.
So then you can't like predict world events. I guess
yeah, but you could be like, I guess that's really creepy, but you could be like, I know you live here and your sister's name is this.
Yeah, I think that will hurt your chances. Yeah. I think my biggest failure of childhood is that I just played soccer for 4 years too long. I only played for 4 years, but
I didn't even know you played for that long. I thought you played for like a month.
Didn't enjoy it. Wasn't good at it. Didn't need it. I didn't learn anything from it. I was just bad.
You didn't learn anything.
I learned
from
that
soccer?
I was bad at soccer.
Okay, great.
Funny fact. I once, when I was a kid, found out that you could just buy trophies. Obviously, you got to get trophies somewhere. But the idea of, oh, I could buy a trophy from an online website, put my name on it, and say that I won anything I wanted. And that's what I did. So I actually bought a 3-foot tall figure skating trophy. I've never told you this.
What the heck?
I bought a 3-foot tall figure skating trophy. I had my name on it, and it said like 1999 men's, like youth men's figure skating champion, like runner up. I made myself runner up to be a little bit more believable. And I just had it sitting in my room.
You intentionally made yourself runner up to be more believable. Wow.
Yes. And this wasn't to impress anyone. This was I was going to leave it in my room. And if a friend came over, never mention it, just to see if they'd acknowledge it and ask me about it. So you'd be like, oh yeah, I used to figure skate. I don't anymore. Just to be like a weird, like
liar.
No, not. I know I sound like a crazy person when I say any of this. I just thought it was funny. I wasn't gonna have them believe it. It was just like, oh, haha, it was a joke. What a weird joke. I liked weird things like that. Anyway, so you could just buy any trophy you want and celebrate any accomplishment.
Once I realized you could buy trophies, I was like, I guess you can buy anything now. What do you think has been the biggest failure of the past 6 months for us? And how have we grown from it?
I think our biggest failure...
Okay, fine. Say it.
I think our biggest failure for the channel week to week is prioritizing what we have to do and time management. I think we do a really bad job at knowing what things need to get done first. For example, this podcast was supposed to be recorded last week, and we're recording it like 48 hours before it goes live, which doesn't give me much time to edit this thing.
I was ready to go on Friday, and then we both decided to rest instead.
Oh, I take full responsibility. But
it was a really big week.
What we do often is some email will come in and say, hey, Michelle and team, we need you to do this thing. Give us your response. And then we decide, we have to drop everything and respond to this email, which is nice. People like that we are very responsive and quick. But it also is at the expense of other things that are probably more important. For example, we would have been streaming for the challenge, the video game challenge accepted episode way sooner if we were prioritizing the correct things. We kept putting it off, and now the tournament comes up, and like we were 2 weeks before the tournament when you started streaming, which I think is too late. So there are things like that I think we could do better at. And I think those failures lead us to missed opportunities or we miss the opportunity to have optimal success at certain things because of that.
I also think that's something I fail at, I guess, is assigning success or failure to something before it has completed its course. For example, even with this karma video, this behind the scenes video, first of all, again, very grateful for all the views it has gotten and all the people who have watched. But it's only been up for a few days. And in my head, like I freak out 5 minutes in if it's not on the trajectory of video X, Y, or
300
Z.
300,000 people. That's still a stadium full of people when you think about it. That's
Pretty
a lot
crazy.
of eyeballs.
I know. Yeah, and I think I fail with comparison, comparing myself to other people that I look up to, whose subscriber to view count ratios are consistent or always above this. I fail with that. And then again with this video, I mean, several of our videos have picked up months later down the line, just like firefighting. So first of all, it shouldn't matter. Like it shouldn't matter if this video flatlines at a certain view count, and that's that.
One thing we like to do in Challenge Accepted is make sure that we show your struggle and failure within each episode. Mm-hmm. Why is that important?
Showcasing failure in the Challenge Accepted episodes is really important to me because it's always the biggest point of growth within the story we're telling. It also humanizes whatever profession, community, or lifestyle we're showcasing. A lot of the communities we enter are ones that are heralded in the community and, shown in one way. And by showing the human difficult element or my failures throughout attempting to do the thing, it really showcases the level of difficulty it takes to be a regimented, put together Marine or whatever it may be. It's always hard to showcase the struggle. I mean, even for this gaming video, for example, Garrett has been on me like, vlog when you don't want to get online and play Fortnite for 4 hours. Vlog about that. And it's difficult. It's difficult to admit failure to something. It's difficult to be like, I just don't feel like doing this thing today, and I'm going to do it anyways. Showcasing myself looking bad, I feel like I've gotten used to it at this point.
I don't know how you do it, because when I, even did my extreme body makeover episode, I had a really hard time showing failure. Because I feel like I wasn't letting me down, but I was letting you down or the audience down that was watching it. They're like, what's the point?
What's interesting
I know
is that
how
those are the parts of the videos that inspire people the most. And because you can watch it and think, I've experienced what Garrett's going through.
I agree with that. You just, when you're going through it, as you know, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like, oh, this was like a bust.
2020,
Yeah. So I totally agree with you. Hard to see when you're in it. And I applaud you for doing that over and over and over again, because, man, that would wear me down.
Oh, you know what this is all making me think about? All of our episodes are based in some sort of fear. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, what is that community, lifestyle, or profession where we could explore the fear of failure a little more head on? I guess that's all of them.
That's all of them, Nobody,
it's gotten me thinking about that, because we're trying to experiment and figure out what the next one is.
I think failure really comes into play with professions that are about working really hard and studying for a specific thing. And if you can't even pass that thing, you don't even get to do the profession. For example, being a lawyer and having to take the bar.
Or a doctor.
Those, and not being able to pass that test to even begin your true training or profession or your career, to really begin to start working in that world, that one's tough, I think.
I think there's definitely an element of that with paramedic, I want to be a paramedic and help people, but what if I fail? What if I...
Yeah, when you're responsible for people's lives, for sure, that comes into play.
Yeah, I mean, those types of professions can have zero room for error. You don't mess that up. Us complaining, or I should say me, talking about, oh, we didn't get so many views on a video, that's one thing, but you make a mistake, even you're a paramedic or a doctor or a nurse or something, that is a human life. Something I think about a lot is the quote, everything you want is on the other side of fear. And I feel like there's also a corollary to that, which is everything you want is also on the other side of failure. Falling down and getting back up.
So you will be doing I Train Like a Professional Skateboarder?
Oh my God.
I really want to see that episode.
I know you do. I know you do.
And wait, you're afraid to do it. Why? Because...
Oh my God. Because I could actually get hurt.
Okay, well, that's fair. But specifically, it was
For
falling
real.
down a lot.
I mean, I did that in ice skating, but I think it's different on concrete. Is
But
it? I don't
You
know.
get pads. You don't get pads in figure skating.
I bought them, but I didn't use them.
Weren't allowed.
My coach told me to buy them. I did, and then we never used them.
I really want to do skateboarding, so we can get Tony Hawk as your coach.
Oh my God, I want to meet Tony Hawk.
That would be so much fun. I think that episode...
Guys, let us know what you think about skateboarding.
I know we've asked you this before, and I'm just going to keep bringing
We
it up
ask it
until
every
everyone's
time.
100% on board. Well, to hop back, Karma as the actual show on HBO, from what I see, is getting really great reception. People are watching it. People are loving it. Regardless if our, BTS Challenge Accepted video, knocks it out of the park or not, which it actually is starting to increase now on views. I don't know if you noticed that. Even though it didn't have 1 million in 2 days out of the gate, I am still very proud of the video.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of our best videos.
Me too.
I think it's super fascinating, especially talking about the profession of hosting, which I think is incredibly undervalued in our culture.
And I also think that the nature of our channel is we release less frequently than other channels do. And so sometimes what I do is I put so much importance on this video has to be the one to do whatever, that it harms my mental health and our ability to celebrate.
Yeah, I think sometimes the fear of failure cripples us to perform on a release day. Like you releasing a video, like when you release a video at 8 a.m., we wake up that morning. First thing we do is we check, how is it doing? And if it doesn't skyrocket in the first 10 minutes, and I know you mentioned this already, it already feels like we've lost. And you're like, oh, well, we lost. We did it. It didn't work, Oops. And I hate that feeling when it should be, oh my God, people are watching something that we made.
Like one person watched.
This is amazing.
Right? And I think that's
yeah.
part of the it's something I think a lot of YouTubers, when they hit a certain point, forget. We've all had a moment where we forget, man, there was one day when there was literally one subscriber here. One person who believed in me. That's who I'm doing this for. Those are the people who I'm doing it for.
For me, this is actually why I enjoy the podcast. Mission accomplished. I wanted something that wasn't based on views, that was fulfilling to me. We knew launching this podcast, it wasn't going to explode. It was going to be fine. Like compared to, a channel with 2 million subs, it was going to underperform. But that's kind of where I wanted it. I wanted to, not that I don't want it to get views, but I
just wanted a more tight-knit community.
Yeah. We wanted to be closer with our audience, and that's something Twitch has been doing as well, which I love. Also. And man, that's like face-to-face almost interaction, which is really cool. But I wanted a place to be creative and to fulfill me creatively, having fun, getting to talk with you, getting to talk, take source questions from the audience, and not worry about how many people are watching it, and just have fun making it and uploading it. And once we upload it, it goes into the ether, and then we work on the next thing. And I think doing this podcast has been very healthy for both of us in that regard.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and for listening. We love it so, so much.
It's a blast. We have a lot of fun. And yeah, thanks for watching this. Or I guess this is it. Are we wrapping it out? Let's wrap it out. Give us the outro.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode. It was really wonderful to get to chat through a lot of this and share some of this. I don't think enough people are talking about these types of things, specifically on YouTube. And thank you for giving us your ears and or eyes.
Not sure if any of this discussion was helpful to you. If it was, great. If not, sorry. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you made it to the end, congratulations, mission accomplished. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
See ya.